It wasn't long until your group realized that they were lost, but after driving in enough circles, Kyra's struggle paid off when she found a local mall. There were more cheers from Lee as Kyra pulled into a parking spot. Once your group made it inside, ooh, look at this, snazzy. Once your group made it inside, the first order of business on this trip was checking what this mall actually had. Where should we go? I think I see a makeup store up ahead. She rolled up on her tiptoes to get a better view. Meanwhile, Derek was eyeing the directory. There's a chocolate shop. Seriously, we have to go there. Yeah, I always look for the food. As soon as I get to the mall, I look and see, look at the restaurants, look at all the restaurants, look at all of the food courts. Try to see if there's like a Cinnabon or an Auntie Anne's. That's a huge thing, Cinnabon or Auntie Anne's. Pretzels. Yeah, Derek and I are on the same wavelength of where our priorities are at. Yes, wait, we need to find a decent jewelry shop. I need new hair ties and berets and barrettes. We've also got to check, at least look for a game store. Boom! Derek and I, we are totally on the same wavelength. Me and Derek, video game store, next priority after food. There's tons of things you can't get anywhere but a store that's just for video games. Hey, what are you thinking, Cove? I want to look at the fish in the pet store. You've guessed that. You could have guessed that much. Yeah, I can guess that much. Anywhere else? He smiled with some bashfulness. The bookstore? I like the bookstore too! I like the bookstore and the video game store. What about you, Vaughn? Oh, cool. A clothing store. Not when I was in middle school. I wasn't really all that into clothes at all. Accessory shop? Meh. Makeup store? Meh. Video game store? Heck yeah. Chocolate shop? See, I like food. And chocolate shop is cool, but not... I would probably want to go to the video game store over the chocolate shop. Pet store is cool. Camping outdoor supply shop? Meh. The food court? Yeah. A bookstore, art supply shop, a music shop. But I mean, let's be honest, video game store is where I want to go first. That would be like my priority, is to go to the video game store. Then the food court, then the bookstore, then the chocolate shop in that order. Video game store. Oh cool, I can pick multiple things. A video game store, the food court, a bookstore, the chocolate shop. I mean, pet store would also be fun because I like looking at pets. Yeah, the pet store. And at that age, that's all that really interested you at that age for me. That's certainly a list. Good thing we have all afternoon. Yeah. I have my own stops I want to make. Let's agree to regroup here at 7 p.m.
What?
You're not coming with us? We're all in the same building. You won't be as alone as you think. I'll only be a few minutes away at most. You're old enough to enjoy them all without me hovering. Yay! We get responsibility! This is trust. We gotta see how well the adults can trust us. Okay.
See you soon.
Be back here at 7 p.m. Toodaloo. What a cool mom. Just letting us run rampant. Oh, all the shenanigans we can get into, us hooligans. Leaving Derek and Lee stunned by their newfound freedom, Kyra walked off. When she was almost out of sight, Derek's face twisted in confusion. Wow, she's really gone. I can't believe she just did that. This is so cool. We get to do whatever we want. Well, you were happy about it. Talk about an amazing opportunity. You felt unsure about the situation. Was this really okay? I think at that age, at middle school, I'd be like, okay, you felt okay about the situation. I wouldn't say it's an amazing opportunity. You weren't happy about it. That's not what you had in mind. That's not what you had in mind. I'll say I'm okay with the situation. Well, it can't be that different from having a parent here. Yeah, you're right, and we'll probably be bumping into her at some point too. With the decision already made, Derek tried to pull together his earlier enthusiasm for the trip. So, where are we going first? Time's a-wasting. Whatever's closest. Makes sense. That makes sense. Things were coming together, but you realize there might be a flaw in today's sudden plans. What's wrong, Vaughn? Did everybody bring money with them?
Yeah.
Yep, I did. I always have some on me when I come all the way out here. Don't tell me I wasn't prepared. You had money too. No, I have money too. You left all your money at home. The original plan was only visiting Mr. Holden's store. You didn't have any money at all since you always ended up spending it when you got it. No, I don't spend unless I'm not a spendthrifty person. You had money too. Immediately you felt better about the situation. It would have been a downer to not be able to even think about something at the mall because they didn't have money. I'm good. Now that everything was squared away, you explored the mall together as a group. There were many shops that you managed to venture into so far. You all even went into a video game store, leaving you with a pep in your step. This was better than you'd thought, and there was still so much to see. After having hit many of the top priority stores, you found yourself passing by a small booth. It was decorated in wind chimes of various sizes. You raised a hand up at one of the smaller ones. What sparked your attention next was Cove. You thought for sure he was going to stop at the booth by the way he looked at it, but he kept going. Do you want one? It wasn't until Lee asked that you realized that you had stopped in front of the booth without saying anything. Lee just continued to encourage you. You should get one. I'm just looking. I don't really like them. You wanted one, but for someone else. You did want this one. Wind chimes? I mean, I don't really like them. I just noticed the stall, but I wouldn't want one of them. Oh, that's okay. Lee hummed in agreement and then stared past the booth. Following her gaze, you saw that the boys were already wandering too far ahead. Let's go. After leaving another clothing store, one that Lee couldn't resist exploring, you and your friends found yourselves walking down the main hall of the mall again. It wasn't long until everyone you were with had their eye on the smoothie kiosk. Yes! That I'm definitely spending my money on. I love smoothies. Should we stop? Yes. Yes. Yes! Thank you, Cove. Yes. As you approached, your eye was drawn to the dizzying list of smoothie combinations. A part of you wondered how long it would take to try them all. Yeah, that's definitely me. Hi there, do you need a rundown of how this works? Yes, please. Okay, first off, you pick up the 3 options of fruit or berries. Then I'll add the ice and the store's special smoothie base mix, and then you'll have your very own smoothie for $4. There's only one size. Okay. Cove leaned over into the counter a bit. For several moments, he intently studied the plentiful fruit and berry options. I want to get a strawberry banana smoothie, with coconut too. Nice! Good combo, Cove. Sounds good. Is anyone else getting something? Can I get one that's just all mango? Nice. The Filipino in myself is super proud of Derek. Mango is all what it's at. Of course. Thanks. I'd like strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries for mine. Thanks. Nice berries. The shopkeeper looked at you now. You didn't? Oh, heck no. I want one. Oh, yeah, I want one. Could I get... Okay, what can I make? Okay, banana, coconut, pineapple, mango, kiwi, peach, raspberry, strawberry, blueberry, apple, orange. Definitely kiwi. That's huge. And I cannot pick up to 3. Raspberries, strawberries, apple, and banana are pretty common, so I wouldn't get the common fruits. Mango also sounds like a really good idea. I'm thinking of something like tropical. And then I love peach. Orange is pretty common. So, kiwi? Coconut sounds really good too. I do love me some coconut in my smoothie. It's between peach, pineapple, and coconut. So I already got mango. I feel like coconut is just gonna balance it really well because you've got sort of like the sourness of the kiwi, and then you've got the sweetness of the mango. So I feel like because the mango is already sweet, peach would be a little redundant, and because of the sourness, and pineapple would probably be redundant because it's kind of sweet and sour. Coconut has a totally different flavor to it from sweet and sour. It's got a creaminess to it, so coconut is where it's at. And that's everything. At that, everyone went ahead and paid for their individual drinks. You waited over at the other side of the booth where the drinks were put when they were done. Derek bounced on his feet, excited for his to be ready.
Aww.
This is gonna be good! Lee chimed in with her own enthusiasm. Everybody says their smoothie-based stuff can make any drink great. Cove, while quieter, looked just as eager for his smoothie. Luckily, there hadn't been anyone else before you, so it wasn't a long wait. Your group collected the fresh drinks as they were placed on the counter. Straws were placed through the opening at the top of the cup, and the first tentative sips were had. Derek sighed in satisfaction after his taste. Mango is too delicious. Mine is super good too. Cove nodded and hummed in agreement. His straw was still in his mouth. You were really happy with yours. You were regretting your choice. You thought it was only okay. You thought it wasn't as great as you expected when you picked. How am I supposed to, like... I mean, I'd like to believe I was really happy with it. I guess it depends. These are really cool because you really can tell whatever story you want. But it's just really hard to choose. Like, how do I just decide? Because I've definitely been in situations where, you know, I thought it was only okay, or I regretted it, or I was happy with it, or it wasn't as great as you expected when you picked. But I mean, I'm just going to be positive. I'm going to say I'm really happy with mine. Those were pretty solid fruit choices. This is perfect. Cool. We all made excellent choices today. Yeah. You asked if you could try Lee's smoothie. You asked if you tried Derek's smoothie. You asked if you tried Cove's smoothie. Sneakily, you wanted to steal a sip of someone else's smoothie. You didn't pay much attention to the other drinks after that. I mean, I already have mango in mine, so it wouldn't make sense for me to ask for Derek's smoothie. So it would be between Lee and Cove. Cove already has coconut in his, and he already has strawberry and banana. But I'm gonna go for Cove's. You asked if you could try Cove's smoothie. Cove, could I have a drink of yours? At that, Cove accidentally inhaled as he was drinking. His face was burning red from embarrassment and from the coughing that shook him. Dude, are you okay? Derek gave Cove a few pats on the back. His hacking was only starting to slow. But I bet it ended up going the wrong way. It sucks when that happens. Lee elbowed you teasingly. The moment you got your attention, she started laughing and gesturing between you and Cove. Moments later, Cove was finally able to breathe normally. He wiped his mouth with his free hand. His gaze locked to the floor as he nervously started chewing on his straw. You could tell he was torn. He didn't seem to want to say no, but he couldn't bring himself to say yes either. It's whatever you want, Cove. You can say yes to me, you can say no. It doesn't matter. I'll be perfectly okay with whatever you say. Derek couldn't watch the scene anymore. Drinking his own smoothie, he pretended to be fascinated by the displays in the stores your group was passing by. Lee hadn't stopped looking over you two. You could tell she was living for every bit of the situation. Cove's unhappy stare went from Lee to Derek, all while he was still shyly sipping his smoothie. You wondered if he was trying to will them to intervene. Feeling the stare, Derek peeked back towards Cove. The only response he offered was an understanding sigh. You decided to let it go. You teased him. You reassured him. I mean, I wouldn't tease him. And it's one of those things where, like, people can be really particular. Like, even if you're good friends with someone, people can be really particular about trying, you know, trying their food. I mean, we're just leaving COVID right now, so I get it. Now, granted, this was before COVID, but I feel like since COVID, I wouldn't be surprised if more people were a little bit more self-conscious about people eating off of their plates or eating off of their cups and stuff. But anyway, this was before COVID, so I could just let it go, or I could reassure him. I mean, I'll reassure him. You reassured him. You don't have to stress over it. I don't want it to be a big deal. With a defeated sigh, Cove delicately moved the hand holding his drink towards you. He invited you to proceed with his eyes. Okay. Leaning in, you took a sip. It was an especially sweet combination. Thanks. Did you want to try mine? I would have offered to try. See, that's the thing. I would have told him, can I try yours and you can try mine. That's the part that's missing here. Maybe Vaughn will do it next automatically, but that would have been like the more natural thing for me to do. It'd be like, hey, like, I'll let you try some of mine if you let me try some of yours. He nodded and brought his smoothie back close to his body, but he didn't start drinking again.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You were satisfied with that. You wanted to ask someone else to try their smoothie. Sneakily, no, I want to ask someone else to try their smoothie. You asked if you could try Lee's smoothie. I like Derek, so I'll ask if I could try Derek's smoothie. Can I have a sip of yours, Derek? I mean, I know that I have mango in mine, but a pure mango smoothie sounds awesome too. You can. He held his cup for you to take. I love how... Oh, Derek's blushing. That's adorable. You held his cup for you to take it, but instead it was easier just lean forward and take a sip from his straw. He blushed slightly at the gesture. This is good mango, thanks. That's what we do with our fruits. Sharing is caring. I love Derek. I love you, Derek. You're so cool. Derek winked, causing a small laugh to escape you. The mango in his smoothie actually reminded you a lot of the fruit bouquet you had at the start of the summer. Yeah. I mean, this is the problem. Is like, why can't I offer them to let them try my smoothie? I'm just going around eating everybody else's smoothie. But I would do that. You want to ask someone else's smoothie? You could ask if you try Lee's. Hey Lee, can I taste what you got? I feel like I'm such a pig, but this is what I would do. But I would also offer my smoothie as well. So it wasn't like I was just pigging out on other people's smoothies and not even bothering to offer my own. As long as you let me try... Thank you, Lee. As long as you let me try yours too. Deal. You and Lee swapped cups and took several sips before swapping back. The berry blend tasted very strong. I like yours, but I'm really, really happy I got this. Thanks, Lee.
You're welcome.
I'm always there to help. As your group continued to wander the mall, you came to an area in the path that was wider. Oh. In the center of the opening was a collection of quarter-operated ride-on machines. Derek stopped as soon as he saw them, smiling ear to ear. I want to ride. I think we might be too big. I don't think Derek is too big.
No way.
No way, we're not that old yet. He eagerly headed over to the machines, wanting to get a better look. Lee went along with it, smiling. You thought this idea was childish. You wanted to ride too. You didn't care one way or another. You stayed quiet about it. No, I want to ride too. You quickly chased after Derek. He turned his head back at the sound of your footsteps and gave a thumbs up over his shoulder. Reconvening around Derek, you watched as he was focused on the various brightly colored rides. Most were designed to look like real vehicles, but there were also some horse-shaped ones. One of them could even seat 2 people. Lee leaned in close to you and whispered playfully, while pointing directly at the sole machine made for a pair. You should ride that one with Cove. Sure. You agreed. She was really onto something there. You rolled her eyes. You disagreed. That was too crazy. You felt unsure. You didn't reply to her. Yeah, that might be fun. I call the helicopter. Why?
Cool.
It's the coolest. I think it'll move the most. Yeah, if I was Derek, I would pick the helicopter first as well. He started digging in his pockets, pulling out whatever money he had left. Wait, is everything okay? I need 4 quarters, right? Yeah. I only have 2. There has to be more between all of us. Hold on. I mean, we can also get change from somewhere. Pockets, wallets, and purses were checked over. Derek still had 2. Cove only had 1. Lee ended up with the most at 3. You didn't have any.
Don't worry about it.
You can have mine. Thanks, but you don't have to. It's not enough for me. And even if it was, it'd be dumb to ride while you had to watch. Oh, Derek is such a sweetheart. Cove shrugged. He had tried, failed, and looked unsure of what to do next. Why don't we all get on one ride? Couldn't we exchange dollar bills for more quarters at a store? Yeah, couldn't we exchange dollar bills for more quarters at a store? Derek slapped a hand on his cheek wide.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that'll work. Let's do it. I mean, that was like probably the most obvious thing. Instead of, the group scattered to various shops around. When you shortly reconvened at the rides, everyone had more than enough quarters. There was no wiping the smile off your face. Despite a little hiccup initially, the plan to hitch a ride was coming together. Let's go get this over with. We have the coins.
Okay.
Cheer up, man. It's gonna be good. Yay! There were enough machines that everyone claimed one for themselves. Derek got his coveted helicopter. Lee was happily on a horse. Cove waited to choose last. It seemed he didn't want to take a ride someone else wanted when he cared so little about it. You picked a horse too, the one that looked like a motorcycle, a single-seated car, the double-seated car by yourself, the double-seated car, and you brought Cove along. Cove, you can sit with me. He gave a bent smile and put a hand on his hip when he saw the ride you pointed out.
I don't know.
Do you really want to try fitting me in that? You might actually be comfortable if you use it by yourself. I don't know, Cove. I think I'd be more comfortable if you were riding with me. That doesn't matter. I want to ride with you. All right. Lee winked at the 2 of you from her pony as you squished next to one another on the child-sized seats. Looks were exchanged across the way, and you each popped the coins in at the same time. The little ride stuttered to life. As the machines began moving up and down and side to side, Lee and Derek couldn't contain their laughter. Derek started waving from the window of the helicopter, and Lee reached out to see if she could touch anyone as their machine jolted closer to hers. Cove, on the other hand, just gripped the side of the car. He was struggling to remain in the seat, looking very uncomfortable. You were quickly regretting your decision to do this. You waved back. You stretched over to grab Lee's hand. You tried to encourage Cove. You personally sat quietly in your ride. No, I'm going to encourage Cove. It was just terrible seeing how unhappy Cove was with this. You wondered if there was anything you could do to make him feel better. Don't worry, we'll all look ridiculous on these things. Cove's concentration was broken when he automatically looked into your direction. You thought you caught him rolling his eyes at your words. Are you worried you're going to fall off? Cove shook his head. Wait, are you worried you're going to fall off? Cove shook his head, but you felt like you were going in the right direction. I know people always talk about how tall you are, but you're not a giant. Some people are 7 feet tall. And plus, I find tall people very attractive. My husband is tall. My husband's quite tall. Cove looked at you, clearly fighting a smile, but his hands were still gripping his ride like his life depended on it. Actually, I find short people tall and sexy. I find short people tall. I find short people pretty sexy too. I actually know several guys that I had a huge crush on, and they actually happen to be relatively short, like below the average of most guys short. So, I mean, I like guys of all sizes, but particularly tall and particularly short, like those two extremes, I kind of gravitate towards a little bit. So, okay, if you do fall, I'll jump off this and make a bigger scene, I promise. The thought finally broke him into a laugh, and his smile remained for the rest of the ride. There we go. Soon all rides came to a stop and the group dismounted. Derek looked absolutely pleased at the conclusion of his pit stop. Then you noticed something out of the corner of your eye. You tilted your head to look directly at it, and you burst into laughter. What's funny? You turned back to your group and nodded in the direction of where you were looking. Isn't that one of those machines that takes dollars and gives quarters back? The kind that exists for people who don't have quarters on hand? Yeah, I figured there was probably a machine like that near these machines. So I was kind of surprised that that wasn't one of the suggestions. That would have been the first thing I would have looked at. Everyone's heads moved that way and saw that you were right. Derek chuckled awkwardly. That's exactly what that is. We're kind of dumb. I don't know, I was thinking of it too. The game just decided that they wanted to... I get it, what they were trying to do. They needed to give this plot device in, so they kind of had to force you to not choose that option. We have to be to miss that this whole time. Come on, let's just put this behind us. There's still places open. We haven't been everywhere yet.
Totally.
Here. You moved along from one stop towards your next, still jovial from the experience. Shortly into your walk, Lee ran over to a nearby trash can and tossed her smoothie cup. Derek went after her and threw his cup away. You followed suit and got rid of your empty cup too. Cove went up to the trash can last. He threw out his very full cup. Oh, did he not like his drink? So much of his drink was left that you couldn't help but wonder if he ever continued drinking it after your stunt. If he ever... Oh, maybe he... Yeah, he might have been really particular about the drink after I drank from it, and maybe he didn't want to drink it anymore. He had been so focused on sipping originally. It had to be that he was too uncomfortable to use the straw after you had. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have. You felt bad. You thought it was cute how seriously he took the situation. You felt shy about it all now. You thought he shouldn't have wasted it for something like that. No, people are particular about those kind of things. I would have probably wanted to get another straw, but then maybe that would have looked rude, and I'm just gonna feel bad about it. You felt bad. All that smoothie went to waste, and Cove barely got to enjoy his drink before you pushed to try it. Cove must have felt your eyes on him because he met your gaze. You weren't sure if he could tell what you were thinking. Instead of calling him out about the drink, you kept it to yourself. You knew Cove well enough to guess it'd just be make things worse. Cove smiled at you before turning back to listen to whatever Derek was trying to tell him. You resolved not to focus on the smoothie incident. The clock inched closer to 7 p.m. as you all made your way back to the directory. It was hard to believe how fast the day went by.
So...
Where do you think your mom ended up today? We didn't see her anywhere. I don't know. She's just like that. Ooh, it's a mystery. Despite having vanished over the entire trip so far, when 7 p.m. hit, you spotted Kyra coming right over, waving cheerily. As soon as she was close enough, she pinched Cove's cheek. Hey, baby and friends. Hi, Mom. He pushed her hand back with one hand and rubbed his cheek with the other. Did you have a good day, gang? Yeah. Today was awesome. We did so much. It was fun. You really enjoyed your day. You thought there were ways it could have been worse. You did enjoy the outing. You didn't enjoy the outing. No, I really enjoyed it. That was super fun. There was no hiding your joy. Like the others, you were smiling ear to ear because today went so much better than you expected. I'm glad we came here.
That I do.
I want to hear all about it during the ride back. She clapped her hands together once, making sure she had everyone's undivided attention. Speaking of that, we better head out. Cliff must be missing us, and you've got to be starving. It's dinner time and you haven't eaten yet. Cove, yeah, I probably would have eaten. Everyone followed her lead and started walking out the door to the parking lot. Something about what Kyra said felt off to you. There were tons of places to eat. It's a mall. You could have had dinner. You wondered if it was just a good guess. But you could feel your eyebrows raise when it dawned on you. She might have been keeping an eye on you after all. You weren't pleased about that. She didn't have to lie. That was actually pretty slick. You weren't sure about that. It seemed kind of sketchy. That was pretty slick. If she hadn't made the comment, you never would have known. You found it hard not to be impressed. Not once could you recall even catching a glimpse of her hanging around. Though now that you think about it, not seeing her ever was suspicious in and of itself. Shaking off those thoughts, you caught up with the others. Keeping the same seating arrangement as earlier, you all piled into the car and started heading back to the store. The drive went by without any problems, and it was filled with chatter about the various things everyone saw around the mall. Soon enough, you arrived at your destination. It was a much faster trip, considering this time Kyra knew where she was going. Hearing the light jingle of bells from the front door being opened, Cliff poked his head out from the back. He lit at up seeing who was here. Okay. Hey, Sport, did everyone have an adventure? Hi, Dad. We had a blast! Yes! We found the mall.
Aw.
The mall? Wish I could have joined. He deflated in an exaggerated way. His shoulders sloped. Kyra put a hand on his arm and smiled.
Anywhoosies.
There'll be other times. Are you set here? Almost. Mr. Holden sighed for real. He then pulled himself together, standing up
Do
straight.
you mind?
I need just a little more time to finish up. Will you be alright killing time for a bit longer? It's okay. Yes, sir. No problem, Mr. Holden. We can have fun here. Excellent. What a great group of kids. He gave an approving thumbs up and Kyra nodded along. I'll give you a hand. I remember the ropes. Why, thank you. They walked side by side to the back room. Before he was out of sight, Cliff stopped and looked over his shoulder. If you leave the shop, don't go far. It's getting late. And then the parents were gone again. Let's go to the docks. They're right down the way. Yeah. Oh, I saw those on the way here and really wanted to check it out. Are you coming, Vaughn? All right. With a smile, Cove showed the way. Between the warm summer air and the smell of the ocean, you couldn't ask for a better night.
Thanks.
Thanks for letting me come. Me too.
Right?
Right? I'm happy we did this. Today was great. Cove, your mom and dad are really cool. Really? Totally. Cove looked at Lee oddly. He ran a hand through his hair, and then his puzzled expression cracked with a chuckle.
Yes.
I guess sometimes they are. I always thought my parents were cool. You know, I don't know if I said this before, but whenever we had band trips, I loved it when my mom volunteered to be a chaperone. I loved it. A lot of kids, most kids probably would have hated that, or at best would have been indifferent. But I really loved when my mom came because I felt like my mom was a cool mom and that my friends thought she was a cool mom too. And she was. She was easily like one of the most popular chaperones, and everybody wanted my mom to be their assigned chaperone because my mom's just cool like that. So I don't know. I always was really proud of my mom and how cool she was, and maybe that's a testament to my parents, I guess, and their parenting. I don't know. I guess sometimes they are. I'm glad that Cove is recognizing that a little bit. You continued walking. Every so often you would look up at the sky and see several stars poking up between the clouds. At one point you noticed that Cove stopped while Lee and Dara kept going on ahead, busily chatting. You initially wondered if something was wrong, but you quickly noticed that he still looked to be in good spirits. You decided to hang back with Cove. He gave you a quick, acknowledging look when you stopped at his side.